Well, this movie came out 4 years ago. Let's take a look at Soul, the first of the three Pixar movies that came out on Disney Plus exclusively. Before this year brought Soul to the big screen for a bit. Though I don't know if the movie did do well at the box office, which is understandable since the movie was already on Disney Plus. So what's the point of it? But still, um. I love this movie. It's like a really, really good movie. It's almost kind of like Up, where it's like Pixar's its most mature and kind of darkest, where it's about this aspiring jazz musician, uh, jo- Joe Gardner, as who gets falls out of the sewers after finally trying to achieve his job, but then he goes to the great beyond at first as a soul, but then falls to the great before, where where he befriends a soul named 22 who doesn't like Earth, but was sent to go back to Earth, but it didn't work out at first since Joe was at a cat's body and 22 was at Joe's body, and they had to experience of what their life could be like. It's specifically 22 as a human on Earth, which it starts off very good and honestly really hilarious. Like that's probably my favorite part of the movie. Like when Joe experiences as a human, is hilarious because it starts off as extremely hilarious and fun. Where she is really into Earth, like a lot. Whether it's eating pizza, talking with the people at the barber shop, or Mr. Mittens trying to say stuff, but to in front of people, he just goes meow, meow, meow. I made me laugh so hard. But when he con when but when Joe as 20 but when 22 as Joe talks to Joe's mom, things get a little emotional, and with the speech he with the speech they gave, and later at the scene where 22 holds uh, a feather and sits down in a house and looks up in the sky, and it's a very kind of amazing scene, and it ends with Joe and 22 running away from each other, chasing each other all the way to the subway until Terry brings them back to the great before. But and then but when 22 gets an Earth pass but then rejects it, Joe gets the Earth pass and was sent back to Earth, where everything seemed like it was gonna be amazing for him because he finally got his moment to shine. And but then when he was said that he will do it again all over, and starts to experience that life and on Earth doesn't feel the same as he felt before, and he starts to miss 22 and what experience was like for 22 be him, and so he wants to go back to 22, to which Joe uh to which that Joe was feeling very sad and feeling lonely, wants to be alone. But when Joe finally convinces 22 to get back, uh they go to that 22 goes to Earth, and Joe was going to be to the great beyond, but Jerry convinced him well to get back to Earth and stay on Earth for a while. For it gives a second chance to be on Earth. Um, Another thing I love about this movie is the animation. Not only does it look great in quality, but there are a lot of shots in animation that looks incredible. Specifically at the jazz music scene, like when Joe gets back on Earth after the subway chase and the Earth pass. That music sequence, visually it looks incredible. I really love how they were able to do that. And it's a very emotional and fantastic story about musician whose soul gets to the great beyond, the great before, and befriends another soul, and then they go to the wrong bodies on Earth, and their life got to experience got good, great, but then when Joe gets back to his soul, at first it was a moment to shine, very great, but feels lonely now, and decides to get reunited with his old friend, and then they go back to Earth. Um, I love Jamie Foxx as this character Joe. He gives a very phenomenal performance as the character. And 22, whoever voices her, did an excellent job as this really well written and well developed character who at first hates Earth, but the more she experienced life on Earth as Joe, she really feels like she has kind of wants to have a purpose now. Um, and later she might finally be on Earth. And I know that there's a Pixar short film. I haven't seen it. But we'll see. And I really the film was a very powerful movie. It's a it tells you that Pixar is just really wants to make like movies that are really good and be loved by kids, but mainly adults as well. Like they're not kids movies, they're family movies, and this one tells you that as well. Um, and there were some fun characters like Terry as well, and the the dude that was like at the pirate ship and was on Earth, was trying to get Joe and the Mr. Mins back to each other, back to their normal bodies. He was a fun character for a while. Overall, Soul is a fantastic movie.